This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. It reads, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahai Kodash. Peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the election, beginning with the 144,000, the servants, the prophets, the men of the Lord, singing the new gospel, as well as the rest of the 1/3 men, women, and children. And this is, going to be a response to the Elder Makama, GMS Maccabeen Spirit, 3561. This is the elder of GMS Chicago camp. Played an interesting video of an Edomite woman who's speaking in the spirit of truth, showcasing and pointing out the hatred that the Edomites have for the Israelites, so-called whites for so-called blacks. And she makes some good points, and it inspired me to want to do a response and go into it, because this whole thing on the Western Hemisphere of black and white, the black people and the white people, and the whites hate the blacks, and the racism, and all of this thing it's not a mystery. It's something that's real, that exists, that has been existing since the inception of the concept of the United States of America as we know it today. It's something that has went nowhere, and it's something that's always been in the earth. And this is the tension, the back and forth between the seed of the righteous and the seed of the wicked, which is manifested in these last days of being the Israelites and the Edomites. The Edomites being the so-called whites, and the Israelites being the so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans. See, there's a certain hatred and ill will that the so-called whites has toward this group of people, and a lot of them don't understand it. They don't get it. You see, and she makes some good points, and I'm about to play it, just pointing out the things that they feel. A lot of times they just don't know why they feel it, and that's because of what we read in Genesis 3, how the Lord would put enmity between the serpent, which in that time that was basically a wicked people. Men with a wicked ass, rebellious spirit. Okay, that was the Esau of that time, the Edomites of that day, during the time of Adam. It's referring to a man, not an actual snake, and the woman, which represents what, us. You link that to Revelation. You go to Revelation 12. The woman Israel. That's the title of the chapter, or the first two verses. It says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." You see, we represent that woman. The sun, the moon under the feet represents knowledge, wisdom. The law, statutes, and commandments being given unto us. Us being the woman, being the wife of the bride of the Most High. Through the bridegroom Yahweh Shai. And upon her head a crown, which represents what? Being exalted, ruling, reigning. 12 stars represent what? The 12 tribes. So let's go ahead and play the video.
Correct that. I don't want to put out any misinformation. The woman speaking is not Felicia Carr, because I read it. Felicia Carr is the content creator who put up her video. So here we go.
So hey boo, I just had a thought. One of the reasons white people,
you can see she's red and not white. All right, red,
is because we cannot tolerate black joy. We cannot tolerate black intelligence. We cannot tolerate black beauty. We cannot tolerate,
which is an
black
oxymoron.
confidence. We cannot tolerate,
when you know the meaning of
camaraderie.
black and beauty, and then the meaning of beauty. They're completely opposite of each other.
Anything that frees a black person, there's a level of racism that I think hits differently for black people than it does for Asian people or Hispanic people or Middle Eastern people or Native Americans even. Each one of those things that people think regarding other races are different with black people, I think. Because again, we don't like black people to be educated. We don't like them to be successful. We don't want black judges. We don't want anything for black people that doesn't directly affect and entertain us. So we can have a black nanny. We can have a black house cleaner. We can have a black teacher. We can have a black coach. We can have black players. But only for the specific things that we feel comfortable with. I think about all those sweet children that have been killed, murdered, when they go out with their white friends. And I think that as much as the trauma of slavery comes down through the DNA, I think also the cruelty of slavery, the desire to hurt, the desire to steal and kill and humiliate and torment and disappear.
I just had a
black
dream
people
about that. Witnessed it.
is what comes down through the DNA. I think when you do something like that for long enough and you pass it down for the many years that slavery and enslaved people were in chains, that is an instinct with us, cruelty. And I think you can see it.
Yes.
In many videos. All the white women and white men that are telling black kids.
Yeah, it's something about these Edomites, man. They are cruel and they lack mercy. That's why the scripture says that no mercy will be on him. Might be in James. I think it's in James. See, the Most High is merciful, but something about these Edomites, they are very unmerciful, man. And it's because of that hatred, bro. There's a serious hatred that they have for us, and I sincerely believe that they just don't understand it. They don't understand why they feel away. Like, why, when they have everything, why do they keep pursuing us? Why can't they just leave us alone, man? This is James 2:13. It says, "For he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment." So I'm gonna read that again. For he, these Edomites, shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. And that's why he that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. And I'm gonna have one more scripture, because I'm gonna go. I just wanted to make this a real quick hit, because people are speaking about this for a reason, man. We're super duper close to the Lord, bringing these people down and judging them. You know, and we talking about the sins of Cain being judged too through these Edomites. This is Genesis 27:41. "And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him." That's it. Grand opening, grand closing. That's why there's this problem that they have with us, and they don't know, because in their spirits, they know we have the blessing that they, in a sense, were supposed to get by them being the firstborn son, which they did had it, but they sold it, right? And that's where the hatred is coming from. It's arousing from this. But really just because in the spirit of the righteous and the evil, the seed of the righteous and the evil having conflict, that's what it's about at the end of the day, the balance thereof. You see? Ecclesiasticus 33 and verse 14. It says, "Good," we'll start at 13, "as the clay is in the potter's hand, to fashion it as his pleasure, right? So man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liketh him best, the Most High. The Most High through his Son created all things for his own sake, his own glory. So he formed man to be righteous. He formed man to be wicked. See verse 14, it says, good is set against evil and life against death. And that's your Israelites and the Edomites personified. It says, so is the godly against the sinner. Esau is also known as the man of sin. And the sinner against the godly. You see, and they've been against us. And our people are pretty peaceful. Even now, our people talk that shit, but they really don't want to do nothing to Esau, man. They just want to be able to be accepted and get along with the Edomites, bro. But see, that's why the Lord said he going to set vengeance upon Edom by the hand of his people Israel, because the Lord one day is going to put a spirit on Jake to seek vengeance. You see? Because at the end of the day, the Lord ain't with the Edomites. He gave them a blessing, you know, the sword and the fatness of the earth, but he ain't with them. He ain't with them because they wicked. They just straight off. As a nation of people, they are off as hell. They wicked as hell. Yeah, some of them might do some good for you, man. Yeah, some of them might help you out. I just got helped out on the road the other day after a car accident. You know, Esau saw my shit dragging and shit, and I was about to call a tow truck, man. He pulled right on over and helped me patch that shit up. Take some of that shit off the bumper and shit so I can get back on the road, man. You know, and when I offered to pay for him, he said, no, man, just pay it forward. That was a good deal. That was a good act, right? That was great. And all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for putting the spirit on him to do it, of course. But as a whole, man, these Edomites ain't trying to make things right with us, man. They gonna live in the best areas of town. They gonna have the privileges. They gonna have the best positions in government in corporate society, and they ain't finna trade and make shit right with you, Jakes, man. That's why judgment, like one of the bros did a video, judgment is gonna come from on high. That's it. Cause leaving it up to them, man, it ain't nothing gonna change, bro. It's gonna be the same conversation, the same argument, time after time and time again. But this is the video, the murderous ways of Nolan Wells' friends finally revealed. Good video, you know, beautiful how the elder, you know, continuously and diligently breaks this down and going to examining these devils, you know, without rest. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. On to the next one.